Ready to dominate Weekend League? Head on over to MaddenTurf.com for all the ebooks, tips, memberships, everything you need to start heading on that road to top 100. As always, use code CC for 10% off, and I'll see you guys on the sticks. Hey, what is going on, Madden Film? We're talking team captains today. We're talking about team captains, okay? So if you are new, I would appreciate it if you want to hit that little red subscribe button. That would be dope. It's dope. I love that, and I appreciate you guys who do that. If you like the video, obviously do that. All the good stuff. If you guys want to leave comments, just put them down below, man. It really helps me out. But let's talk about team captains. Before we look at them, a couple key notes. Super important things. One, team captains can get any team chemistry this year, so you can have them on your theme team. Awesome change. Love that. Two, you can change them at any time. Last year, you couldn't change them at any time. You could change them, it was later on. But the key with that is last year, if you would have had to like downgrade the card so much. This year, you're starting at the 87, so you're not really downgrading much now anyway, which is really dope. I love that. So let's get into this, okay? We obviously have 4 of them this year. Not as good selections, in my opinion. You know, we've had better team captains before. Shazier. But I feel like while Shazier was a great team captain last year, he was such the obvious choice you never even looked at the other guys. Can you even name the other team captains from last year? All of them? Tough. Aeneas Williams, okay? We see here what he brings to the table at corner is... it's kind of like a little special early on, right? Now, I don't love speed on the card for an 87 overall. I don't hate it. I don't love it though, right? See, his coverage stats are good. His acceleration and agility are good. There's a bug. Well, got bit. But a couple key points with him. He's a physical corner, right? He really is a physical corner in the game. 72 strength, high. Pursuit, 80 is good. Almost 80 hit power, 69 tackling. Even the block shed at 59 isn't terrible. He's got good hands. This is a really solid cornerback, okay? I like this card a lot, right? I think with the way that the passing meta is in the game, I'm sure that having a corner like this is great, right? It's going to depend on thresholds, whether how good this card is, right? Is this a necessary card? Because if 81 zone plays the same as 75 zone, you're going to get some faster players out there for sure. But if the running becomes a little more, this is the type of guy you want out there. I mean, who doesn't want a 79, 80 hit power corner? It's kind of like Night Train Light to start the year. And I think because we expect a lot of passing, you're probably going to have 3 or 4 corners on the field at times. Not a bad card there, right? I don't really know if he's a CB1 in my opinion in the game. Pretty close to it. Or CB2, right? But it might be my slot or my nickel corner there for sure. Plays really well. I think there's some other cards based on how scheme, you know, if cover 2 and Cloud Flats become really good. Sherman's the guy. But Aeneas Williams, again, for a slot corner, I like him a lot. 5'11", a little short, but a lot of the corners aren't super big. But a physical corner, it's rare. It's really rare. So rare. Let's go look. Let's go compare this, okay? Let's take a look here at cornerback. Let's look at hit power. All right. Hit power over 75. Okay. Let's just see. How many other corners in the game are there? Well, we know there's Aeneas Williams. He's the only one. He's the only one. What about over 69? Right? Are there any other corners? I mean, there's a couple. It looks like Ramsey, Humphrey, Jimmy Smith, a couple gold cards. You know, you're getting the most physical corner in the game there, right? Up next as a choice, we have Leroy Glover. Now, I actually really like this card. But my problem is with defensive tackles in the game. Historically, we don't really use them. We've kind of put linebackers at defensive end and defensive ends defensive tackle when we play. And if that's the way we play this year, we don't really need this card. But for what this card does is nice. He's not super fat, but he's 280. We see there. That's a solid size on him. The speed and excel are good. It does matter. Power move, finesse move combo. Again, very solid. 80, 85. You always want them pretty similar. Both in the 80s is good. It's not Aaron Donald good, but it's pretty good. The pursuit, the tackle, the block shit. I mean, it doesn't really have any weaknesses. The worst part about it is a defensive tackle. Like I said, most times we don't really use a lot of defensive tackles. The people that do, normally you're getting a bigger, stronger, fatter kind of guy like a Vita Vea in there. But he does hold his own. He's got good strength, good block shed, decent weight. I don't mind this card, but it's probably not one I'm going to be adding. He's probably last on my list, right? And then we get to Eddie George. Now, with the Eddie George situation here is why I'm very happy that we can switch cards. Because based on how I build my team, I may forego running back and just use Eddie George because he's really good. And then obviously we're going to get running backs, they're a dime a dozen, and then sort of swap them out that way. But we see Eddie George, 85 speed, 85 excel is fine. The agility is fine. The strength is super high. The trucking is high. The break tackle is high. I mean, he is probably the best power back in the game. For sure. For sure. Now, he can't catch well. And if you want to be thrown to the flats, you know, and if you're not on a budget, McCaffrey's obviously the guy you want to see there. But before I would get this, I would want to see what the team diamonds are. Check out like what work done can do and stuff like that. Or maybe you just, you know, I think you're going to want a little thunder and a little lightning with your running game this year. So yeah, you obviously need 2 running backs. And there's not a ton of good power backs, really. Chubb, Henry, George, the ones that really come off to mind. I like it. I think it would be good to have him. And I might start out with him, honestly, just so I don't have to invest heavy in like a Derrick Henry, who I kind of want to try out. And we have Ed McCaffrey. Now, this is going to pain me to say. He's very much like Julio Jones in the game. He's super close. Julio's going to be expensive. This card is obviously not. You can use 2, 3, 4 receivers really easy in the game as well. So that's tough. That's tough, right? Tough. His speed is okay. It's okay. His run block is 60, which is pretty high. We'll double check that. But his catching, running, that's all very good. If it's a very high passing meta, I think most people are going to go with Williams or McCaffrey. If you're trying to save coins, they both make sense. And they're both easily replaceable. But for me, with my money on here, Aeneas Williams is the most unique one because he brings the physical skill set to a position that doesn't have a lot of physicality in the game. I really like that, especially early on. I know at receiver for me personally, I'm not going to have a room here. I want a Tyreek Hill. We're going to have level master Andre Johnson, and I'm going to want a Julio Jones. So this would be literally a card who probably doesn't see my field a lot, right? Same thing with Leroy Glover. So for me personally, it goes Aeneas Williams, probably 1 for launch. And then Eddie George, McCaffrey right there as well. Almost tied, really depending on what you need. And then I put Leroy Glover at the bottom, and which is not a surprise. It's not a surprise. I think a lot of people, you could change the order up, and Leroy Glover probably ends at the bottom. I would really like to try Eddie George and use him. If I happen to pull Ramsey and friends and like that in packs and do some of that stuff and get your AJ Terrell, and whoever else may be out there. Maybe you don't go with Aeneas Williams. It really just depends. Like, they're free cards. You can change them at any point. There's no risk involved. And if you're really not sure, just try them out. You know? It's okay. It's okay to just try the cards out. And that's what I would recommend. If you're not sure, try a card out, see if you like it, see if it fits your team. If it doesn't, switch it out. You can do it at any time. But that's the team captains. Good selections, not great. Out of all the program-ish stuff we saw, I would say that these were not my favorites. and that's fair. Still good. I like free. A couple good free cards. But I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you so much. Let me know who you're picking down below. I love you, and I'm out. Peace.